Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe vom SI-Talk bei mir, Lance Morginn. War letztes Mal schon dabei. I think the last interview we do in October when I was here
October I believe it was.
Yeah, it was before you go public.
That's true. Yes.
Now you are 2 months in the public area. Yeah, I have a conflict of interest. Ich habe einen Interessenskonflikt. Ich bin Aktionär. I have a conflict of interest.
Sure.
I'm shareholder.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I bought in on the first day when you go public.
Yep.
Since I must say it's interesting. The first when we met us was in September in Frankfurt. I remember me, and since then you go public, you raise a lot of money.
Yep.
So you transfer the company from an very interesting company, and I must say, you was the first company to have really blockchain technology what is useful. A lot of other groups running around and tell we will do this and this and this and this, but you have already a product at this time what you can and get a benefit for some people that are involved in this area.
Yes, yeah.
So maybe you can explain us these two products that you have at the moment in the market.
Sure.
And then what you do with this lot of money
Sure.
that you...
So, I mean, the first use case of blockchain was cryptocurrencies, and providing search and analytics into those ecosystems obviously have value for a number of different industries. We're looking at law enforcement, we're looking at the financial industry, so banks, exchanges, ATM networks, retailers, legal firms that have their own cases with Bitcoins that have been stolen and looking for us to be expert witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
And even for consumers to have some transparency and trust in this new form of cash. And so that's what we're bringing. So our first tool that we went to market with is called Clue with a Q. It's Qualitative Law Enforcement Unified Edge. And this is a tool for law enforcement investigators as well as anti-money laundering departments in the financial world. And so we trace, track, and monitor cryptocurrency transactions at a forensics level. And we also provide other tools to allow officers to perform end-to-end investigations. And subsequent to that, we were able to come up with a financial product allowing, as I said, banks, exchanges, and ATM networks to provide anti-money laundering at their gateway via our API. And so this is that's our blue sky product.
Mm-hmm.
And Clue itself is the foundation of everything else that we're
Mm-hmm.
creating. The advantage of having law enforcement such as Homeland Security and Department of Justice validates the data that we're providing to the financial sector.
Mm-hmm.
And also when speaking with regulators, we're giving clarity to them as to how they can shape policy to get comfortable with passing legislation where they would recognize Bitcoin, at least that's where we're starting,
Mm-hmm.
as a cryptocurrency like Japan has done.
Mm-hmm. So that's mean you profile each, from my understanding, you profile each e-wallet that is in the Bitcoin ecosystem.
That's correct. We assign a risk score.
A risk score. And this is the benefit to the retail people when they deal with other e-wallets, they don't know where the people are. You can show him a risk profile of this e-wallet, this guy, this group, or whatever it's behind.
That's right. Yeah. What we look at is the transactions that they've performed previously. Mm-hmm. And I think what we really need to look at is, and it's the Wild West right now. You know, this is where legislation doesn't exist. Banks can't accept cryptocurrencies, but exchanges in that country can. So, you know, they're sort of the frontline defense
Mm-hmm.
to remove the banks and give them some room to basically not be in the direct line of taking that transaction
Mm-hmm.
first. And so the risk score allows these financial institutions to assess if they want to accept that risk
Mm-hmm.
or not. And so we look at, did they transact over the dark web? Have they moved money through a money laundering service? And there's a number of other factors that we would consider to be sort of in our black box. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like Equifax. You know, we're providing a risk score, and we're really paving this road to allow legislation to occur and to offer the financial institutions the ability to say that they've performed their best job on the background. Now, when you're looking at retailers, I can go buy a Tesla car with Bitcoin. Well, these retail locations need to show to their board, to their shareholders, that they are not facilitating the proceeds of crime. And so it's coming, and as they realize that our tools exist, we believe we'll see a lot of adoption for them into the different retailers, the Amazons, the Expedias, Microsoft, these kinds of organizations.
Okay, you started with Bitcoin. When we can expect that you, or which cryptocurrency is your next step?
So we're looking at Ethereum next. We have it on our board to start to plan to identify what that timeline looks like for integration, as well as Litecoin. So those are the next two that we're looking at. From there, we'll see sort of what ones really gain market share. I mean, Ripple had a great run here, but they've dropped back down. So as they gain momentum, we can look at incorporating those. But right now, Ethereum is the next one that makes sense for us. We do see Ethereum being used on the dark markets, and so that makes sense for our client base as well.
So when we can expect it that you can integrate it?
Well, sometime this year is
okay.
You know, it might be summer, could be early fall.
Any other? We saw a press release a few weeks ago that you hire an artificial intelligence officer or science in your company. So I'm a strong believer that artificial intelligence is the next really big thing.
Sure.
So what is the reason in what the artificial intelligence can help you in your area?
Well, we right now we have a research department, and so we do scrape the dark web as well as the surface web, and we look for money laundering services and mixing services, but obviously we could have in a single day 10 new ones pop up, just like Google doesn't know about every web page that exists until their systems scan it. And so with artificial intelligence, I always like to give the analogy, it's like trying to identify the bending of light, and therefore there is a black hole. And so with artificial intelligence, it can help us identify those black holes, which would, in our world, equal a money laundering service or a mixing service, and therefore auto-map it out rather than requiring human interaction to identify those. And that's our first plan for our artificial intelligence division.
Okay, coming back to the existing business, what do you coming up with new client? Can you say something about new clients? Do you deal with some banks and set up some business? What we can expect?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, and I think it's important to realize that we just went public. There was Christmas. There's still some foundation components that need to be put in place, such as legal paperwork to allow us to create relationships with clients. We have a number of different groups that we're dealing with in the financial world, in the retail world, e-commerce world. And so things I think are going to be quite exciting, but obviously being public, I can't disclose things that aren't already out there. But you can imagine that the world recognizes regulation is coming, and we're a company with a mandate to bring cryptocurrencies mainstream, and so we're well positioned to be taking a small piece of every single transaction or potential transaction, because they're going to do a lookup before they accept those funds, and so yeah, we're the picks and shovels of this industry.
It's total. Brings a new idea for me where the new business model, the business model can run. So that's really. I have also the feeling that in general the whole cryptocurrency thing get regulated in this year, or will start it immediately this year. So, and that brings more trust on one hand, but it's getting more complicated on the other hand. And this is we need it. Then if we not will do it, it's still Wild West. And on the other hand, So to summarize, you cannot say too much, then all the legal stuff is behind. You are now a public company, so it's not so easy to do something.
Right.
But I see it in your smile, on your smile, that it's running
right in line with where we expect.
In the right direction.
Indeed.
And what we can also expect is that you will set up a new cryptocurrency. What you monitor is the Ether from Ethereum.
Yep.
And the rest we will see. And I will come over to Vancouver 2-3 times per year. So hopefully next time we can say then a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I think that in our space, 1 hour is a week in everyone else's life, right? and a lot is transpiring, and I think that we've got some great opportunities before us, and we don't see a lot of competition. So stay tuned.
I don't see any other company to do the same what you're doing.
Not at the same level. No, there are some other players that are doing different aspects, but that we're more of an all-in-one package.
Mhm. Ja, war ein Update vom Big Blockchain. Er hat es ja selber gesagt, er kann jetzt relativ wenig sagen, weil natürlich er jetzt public ist, und wenn er public ist, muss er natürlich den Regularien folgen, und da kann man erst dann was sagen, wenn natürlich irgendwas unterschrieben ist, beziehungsweise gemacht worden ist. Es ist sehr viel anderes Legal Dokument, was man da ist, also diese ganzen rechtlichen Dokumente, die man erledigen muss. Wichtig ist, also erstens einmal, sie werden in diesem Jahr auch Ethereum tracken, monitoren. Zweitens ist, und jetzt nur mehr auf KI-Produkt kommen, sie stellen sozusagen einen, das ist für den Privaten sehr wichtig, so einen Risikoprofil jedes Marktteilnehmers auf Bitcoin derzeit zur Verfügung. Das ist wie der Kreditwürdigkeitsindex, den wir hier haben in Kanada, und die Banken brauchen quasi sowas, ob sie dann dementsprechend Transaktionen annehmen können oder nicht. Wie kommen sie zu diesem Ranking? Sie kommen durch dieses Ranking dadurch, dass sie einfach die History dieses Users sozusagen anschauen und schauen, was hat er gemacht, war er eben Darkweg-Unternehmen, hat er dieses, jenes gemacht, hat er irgendwelche kriminellen Sachen vielleicht eingekauft oder sowas, und dadurch errechnet sie mit wem steht er in Kontakt, wo wohnt er, das kann man auch quasi rausfinden über dieses Profiling. Und sie arbeiten da hier auf der einen Seite natürlich mit Behörden zusammen, er hat selber Homeland Securities gesagt, zusammen. Allerdings, und das ist der größere Markt, sind sicher die Banken und die Finanzinstitute, die ja in diesen Bereich einsteigen, und die brauchen sozusagen ein Risikoprofil des einzelnen Kunden, ob sie den als Kunden akzeptieren können oder nicht. Und für uns als End-User sozusagen, die auch mit anderen Bitcoin-Usern ja handeln, das ist ja immer ein Handel zwischen zwei Bitcoin-User, ist es natürlich auch wichtig, ob der jetzt vertrauenswürdig ist der Gegenüber oder eben nicht. Da sieht er extrem hohes Potenzial, was die Kundenschicht betrifft, also Banken, Finanzinstitute, auch Notare, rechtliche, Rechtsanwälte und so weiter, die haben großes Interesse an so einem Produkt. Er sieht sich selber als sozusagen Schritt auch bei den Regulierungen, die wir brauchen in den Cryptocurrency, damit sie allgemein akzeptiert werden. Wenn es keine Regulierung gibt in diesem Sektor, so wie es Japan jetzt auch teilweise akzeptiert hat, dann werden wir nie Bitcoin quasi als echte Währung akzeptiert werden. So, er kann nicht wirklich viel sagen, allerdings eben, dass es ganz gut läuft, das hat man in seinem Gesicht aus ablesen können. Er hat relativ gestrahlt, wenn es um die Zukunft gegangen ist, und er sieht sich da auch sozusagen an erster Stelle, wenn es genau um die Umsetzung des rechtlichen Dinges. Er hat ein interessantes Detail gesagt, er sieht sich sozusagen wie bei der Minenindustrie, die Schaufeln verkauft haben früher. Er glaubt halt, dass er bei jeder Transaktion halt eine Kleinigkeit mitverdienen kann, weil sie halt dieses Tracking machen. Und wenn das passiert würde, dann wäre das natürlich der Riesendeal schlechthin. Ja, das war's. Update Big Blockchain Jänner 2018, Vancouver. Tschüss und Baba.
Thank you. Good to see you again.